Hello friends, welcome to the Wonderful Adventures channel. Today we are going to start a new series called The Magical Forest of Wisdom. So let's get started. Once upon a time, deep within a magical forest, there lived a little boy named Omar, who was known for his kindness and curiosity. One sunny afternoon, while playing near his home, Omar noticed a tiny bird with a broken wing struggling on the ground. Without hesitation, he picked it up and gently cradled it in his hands. As he looked into its beady eyes, he felt an instant connection with the helpless creature. Determined to help, he took the bird home and began nursing it back to health. Every day he would bring it food and water and sing to it softly, hoping to comfort the scared animal. Days turned into weeks, and the bird slowly regained its strength. Under Omar's attentive care, its wounds healed and its feathers grew back. When the time finally came for the bird to be released, Omar felt a mix of happiness and sadness. He had grown fond of the little creature and was unsure if he wanted to let it go, but he knew it was the right thing to do. With a heavy heart, he took the bird to the edge of the forest and watched as it soared into the sky, its wings carrying it higher and higher until it disappeared from sight. As he stood there admiring the bird's freedom, Omar felt a sense of accomplishment and pride. He had saved the bird's life and helped it return to its natural habitat. And as the sun set over the horizon, he knew that this experience had taught him the importance of compassion and the rewards of helping others. Suddenly, a wise old owl perched on a nearby tree hooted softly, its large golden eyes twinkling with amusement. Startled by the sudden appearance of the bird, Omar quickly hid behind a large rock, his heart pounding in his chest. He peeked out from behind the rock and saw the owl staring at him curiously. Hesitantly, Omar called out to the owl, asking why it was watching him. The owl blinked slowly, and in a voice that sounded like rustling leaves, it replied, "I've been watching you, young one, and I must say you have a kind heart." Omar blushed at the compliment, but couldn't help but wonder what the owl was doing in the middle of the forest. The owl continued, "I am the guardian of this forest, and I have seen many humans come through here, but few are as compassionate as you." Omar couldn't believe his ears. He had never been called compassionate before, and he was unsure how to respond. The owl, sensing his confusion, explained, "You showed kindness to the little bird when no one else would, and now it has returned to you with a gift." Just then, the bird flew back down and landed on Omar's outstretched hand. It chirped merrily and then transformed into a beautiful fairy with sparkling wings and a dress made of flower petals. She smiled at Omar and said, "Thank you for saving my life, kind sir. I am eternally grateful to you, and as a token of my appreciation, I would like to grant you a wish." Omar was stunned by the sudden transformation, and he couldn't believe that the bird was actually a fairy in disguise. He thought for a moment, trying to decide what to wish for. He could ask for anything he wanted, but what would be most meaningful? Suddenly, he remembered the other animals in the forest who needed help, and his mind was made up. "I wish for all the animals in this forest to be free from harm and to live in peace," he said. The fairy was impressed by his selfless wish and waved her magic wand. In an instant, all the animals in the forest were healed, and their lives were filled with abundance. From that day on, Omar became known throughout the land as the boy with the kind heart, and the animals in the forest loved him dearly. From that day forward, Omar became known throughout the forest as the kind-hearted human. The animals would often gather around him, seeking his help and friendship. But Omar's generosity didn't go unnoticed. A greedy woodcutter named Hassan, who lived on the outskirts of the forest, became envious of Omar's relationship with the animals. Hassan had always hated the forest, believing that it was nothing but a hindrance to his work. He had spent years cutting down trees and collecting firewood, and he had no regard for the animals or the environment. One day, Hassan decided to take matters into his own hands. He snuck into the forest and set up an ambush, planning to capture one of the animals and sell it to the highest bidder. He waited patiently, and soon enough, a young deer wandered into his trap. Hassan quickly tied up the deer's legs and dragged it away, laughing to himself as he thought about the money he would make. However, as he was dragging the deer through the forest, he heard a familiar voice calling out to him. It was Omar, and he had heard about Hassan's evil plan. "Let the deer go, Hassan," Omar demanded, his voice shaking with anger. Hassan turned around and sneered at Omar, but the young boy's determination was unwavering. "I won't let you hurt this innocent animal," he said, stepping in front of the deer. Hassan was taken aback by Omar's bravery, and he hesitated for a moment, but his greed quickly took over. "Get out of my way, boy, or I'll tie you up too," he threatened, his eyes flashing with malice. However, before he could make a move, the animals of the forest surrounded him, their eyes blazing with fury. They had heard Omar's call, and they were ready to defend their friend. "Leave now, Hassan, and never come back," the wolves growled, their teeth bared in a menacing snarl. Hassan was terrified. He had never seen so much anger in the eyes of the animals before, and he knew that he was outnumbered. He quickly untied the deer and ran away as fast as he could, promising to himself that he would never return to the forest. As the animals cheered and celebrated their victory, Omar felt a surge of pride. He had known that the animals would stand by him, but to see them in action had been truly inspiring. From that day on, Hassan never set foot in the forest again, and the animals and Omar continued to live in harmony, their bonds strengthened by their shared love for the magical forest they called home. And that's the end of today's story, my little friends. What did you like about it? Tell me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to watch more videos like this. See you next time. Bye-bye.